Hello everyone, Nick here, and welcome to my first viewing reaction of Doctor Who, Redacted Episode 10, Salvation. Almost forgot the title there. Okay, as promised, I am attempting to get this reaction out whilst on holiday, as opposed to for you guys having to wait 2 weeks to find out. Although I don't know how bothered you guys are about exactly how long you wait. Apologies for the light coming in about hereish on the face. That's the light from up there. Try not to be too loud because my family's downstairs watching Donaldson and Dobbs. Yeah, Donaldson's and Dobbs new series. So yeah, I don't think I've ever attempted to make a video whilst on holiday before, so this is a first. Okay, so for Doctor Who Redacted Episode 10 Salvation, over the last couple of episodes, and I'll do a series recap afterwards, we've been building to this series finale with the arc of people people who knew the Doctor disappearing and then eventually being forgotten altogether, and then the Doctor themselves are being forgotten by people, and mysterious stuff's been happening. A couple of aliens have been taking advantage of all this, and there's been these weird ghost things that have been transitioning between our world and another universe or something. So that's how things have been leading up to. And at the end of the last episode, the main character of the one of the main three characters, Cleo, got redacted, as her friends didn't notice her being more or less taken away. So now we jump into episode 10, Saviour, to see how things wrap up, what's been going on, why has it been going on, and are they going to be able to wrap it up? Well, we jump into Redacted shortly after this, and it actually turns out that Abby and Shauna were the ones who got taken away, and Cleo's the last person left, actually. But she is able to eventually find the Doctor, and eventually they team up as the Doctor starts to explain herself to to Cleo, and we start to understand what the problem is. So basically, the reason why this is all happening is there's this psychic virus that affected the Doctor whilst on a trip with her friends, and now it's infecting everybody. It's now causing people to disappear and therefore be erased from time / transferred to this other universe. And it's because it's affected the Doctor's mind, it's the people she knew. That is why it's happening, with the exception of Cleo, due to a mental block in her mind protecting herself, being immune, so to speak, as we established in episode 9. More on this in a little bit. But it is through this and the Doctor's psychic paper and her explanations that Cleo is able to work out the way to stop it. It refers back to episode 2, Hysteria, with the people thinking about stuff, and therefore it actually happens. So people think that they're think something, and Cleo convinces them to just think about not that. If they think about other things, they think they're think about something else, and they will eventually restore that. I'm probably not exactly explaining it very well. I think it's explained better in the episode, but she's able to manage to get her mum and her two best friends, the other two main characters of this series, Abby and Shauna. She's able to get them back, more or less, and together they're able, and also her brother shortly afterwards, and together they're able to fix everything, more or less, along with the Doctor, and they're able to sort it all out in a pretty satisfactory conclusion as well, I might add, because this is easily, if I was, because I mentioned at the start, this is kind of like Jodie Whittaker's unofficial 4th series as the 13th Doctor, a bit like the Christopher Eccleston Big Finish audios being the unofficial 2nd and upcoming 3rd 9th Doctor series is following on from his series 1 of television. So this is unofficially Jodie Whittaker's 4th series. Ooh, notification messages. This is unofficially, ignore that, Jodie Whittaker's 4th series as the 13th Doctor. And this is easily the best series finale of her tenure. I did like, what's his name, The Vanquishers. I did enjoy that, but it wasn't really a satisfactory finale to Flux. And it felt like it could have been more explained, and maybe that's what we're going to get in the Centenary special later in the year. Still holding out for that, but we'll see how it goes. other two series finales haven't been that great for different reasons, but suffice to say, Vanquishes is easily the best of the 3 television ones so far. Again, we'll see how the Centennial special goes out. But if we include this series, this episode is by far the best series finale of the Whittaker era. And because it does everything right. It gives us the answers. It gives us a satisfactory conclusion. It gives us an explanation. It gives us great character moments. And it ends the series on a high note, on a pretty good note. Is it 100% perfect? Probably not. But it's good. It's brilliant. It's really fun, engaging. And yeah, so I find it the best series finale of, if I counted this as a Whittaker series, of her tenure. Easily, hands down. It's brilliant, and it's a great conclusion to this series. And a bit of a meandering slightly earlier on, and then a little bit after the halfway mark. But I feel like we came to a satisfactory conclusion. The meandering, around episode 2, 3, and in episode 8, it was worth it because they laid the foundations for a pretty great finale. I don't know if I'd say this was my favourite episode of the series, but it's definitely up there. This episode 4, 5, maybe 6 and 7, I would say are my top 5. Yeah, episodes 4 through 7 and this one are my top 5. My least favourite is probably 2 or 8, or 3. 2, 3, or 8. One or the others. 1 was a good one. 9 was a good one. None of them were bad. None of them. These were all great episodes. Even the ones I thought were a little bit more meandery. But yeah, this was a great series. I'll discuss more about the series itself and the look back. But this episode precisely was a really great finale and a great way to wrap up the series. And I liked how Cleo's story was resolved, and we find out the reason she's immune and what happened to her dad. And they found an alien egg, the creature hatched, it killed her dad. The 10th Doctor turns up to save us. David Tennant gets an uncredited cameo, archive footage or otherwise. Again, it's another 13th Doctor product with the 10th Doctor again. We've had so many of those recently. I'm going to let this one slide and actually say it's pretty good because it does tie into Rose Tyler with the Power Estate. Though it might have been nice if it was the 9th Doctor, but then again, they might not have been able to get Christopher Eccleston in to record some new lines. If they did get David Tennant to record some new lines, he would actually do it. So, unless they were really begging Eccleston. But yeah, but I will say it is another case of the 10th Doctor does kind of come in and invade the 13th Doctor's. It does pop up in a 13th Doctor adventure outside of the main TV series. But in this case, I think it kind of works, and he doesn't kind of intrude the story. It's more of a kind of this happened on a previous adventure kind of a situation. So I'll give this one I'd say this one was actually a good example of that. A good case of, 10's also in this 13 story, but it actually works this time, as opposed to plotting him into other 13th Doctor adventures without, say, maybe any other Doctors turning up, or it's always 10. They're always bringing back the most popular new series Doctor. This time around, it actually does kind of work. Though maybe they made it the Power Estate just so that they can get him in. Either way, it's fine here. So, a pretty satisfactory conclusion to all of this, and Cleo's mum apologises to her, Cleo, for what she did, and Cleo apologises to her as well for blaming her about her dad's disappearance. Everybody makes up at the end, and we got a really funny final scene at the very end. It kind of acts like a mid to post-credits scene. It's pretty funny and enjoyable. Oh, this was a fun adventure. Character-wise, Cleo's arc gets wrapped up really well. Sadly, that does mean Shauna and Abby are kind of put to the side for a bit, but I think Abby's story was pretty well wrapped up as well. And she and Shauna, they get together. They get together, so everybody's happy. My only kind of disappointment is that I think we could have explored more of Shauna's character outside of what happened between episodes 6 and 9 with her and Abby and Cleo. Outside of that, I think we could have explored a bit more of her. But again, that's more of a series thing rather than this episode. I think they did wrap up her story well enough for what they gave her as a character, but overall, this was again, as I mentioned, this was a great series finale to this series. This was really fun and hands down the best 13th Doctor series finale. No question. This was absolutely brilliant. So that was Doctor Who Redacted episode 10, Salvation. Great finale to this great series. Thank you so much for listening. I will do a series overview and a mini ranking, not an official ranking, because if possible, I might actually be able to. I might review this series, possibly. Don't hold me to that. But in case for that reason, I probably do some sort of ranking and scores in the series overview for that reason. So I'll do that soon. Thank you for watching this reaction. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.